Inside Reed Green Coliseum, Southern Miss victorious over Louisiana, 82-71. Probably the best basketball game we'll probably see here to cover in, I'm not going to say forever, but it has definitely been a decade since we've seen anything like we saw for the past 3 hours that we've been in here. That's Austin Lindsay right there. That's Jackson Howell, and that's Charlie Luttrell. I'm Dewey Mixon here with your post-game thoughts tonight as Southern Miss. Man, guys, just you heard, it was a doubleheader, so the women's game was right before, and the women's game almost had more fans in here than any other game that Southern Miss had, and then they packed it out with, what was the final number, something 8,097, so 8,000 fans in here, and Southern Miss fell down early. Louisiana's a great basketball team, but man, once Felipe got going, it was it was all Southern Miss from that point on.
Yeah, I mean, that was something we were talking about after the first half. 0 points from Felipe, and then second half you saw him going. Coach Ladner, as we'll probably link the post-game conference, he was saying that he kind of just had to, speak to him at halftime. Probably nerves, lots of stuff going on that we thought was going to be a factor just because Southern Miss, the players have never faced this kind of atmosphere before, so there's obviously a lot of nerves going on. But Felipe just was totally collected in the second half, 6 of 7 and 17 points all in the second half. So really just he was a big factor, but also I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about Neftali Alvarez, just what he did tonight. Really just an X factor, I think, from the get-go.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, right when he came in, Jackson, the whole crowd stood up and started cheering for him. They've seen what he's doing on ESPN Plus as they've been playing on the road, but he came in and wow, he just makes a difference every play. It's not just like he's just kind of running around. Every time he's in the game, he's making a difference, regardless of whether or not he has the ball in his hand.
Sorry, did y'all say something? I can't really hear after all of that. Definitely a difference maker, a spark plug, a Swiss Army knife, whatever y'all want to call him. He is that guy. He's the perfect sixth man off the bench. He can give you everything. He can give you defense. He can give you great passes. And then we saw tonight he can get you some buckets and just a walking bucket tonight. And that's exactly what they needed. He's a guy that didn't play the first time against Louisiana, and he surely made his impact felt tonight. Just a great night from Alvarez, and then, like y'all said, Hasse was good as well.
Yes, and just to add to that, like Charlie said, Hasse will have a tough first half, but the second half made the difference. And I think that the second half made a difference for a lot of guys, not just him, but Austin Crowley would get going. Nefta, just, man, truly electric. Every play that he seemed to make was, eye-opening or eye-popping, and especially on defense. And just for him to capitalize it off the way he did, passing off to DeAndre Pinkney, a guy that's been here through it all, man, and to finally see a sold-out crowd here and to be the guy that put that stamp on the game was truly electric. It was a truly exciting night, man, and I've never experienced anything like this in Southern Miss basketball, and man, it's truly special.
Yeah, and I was, kind of like I said on the podcast Monday, I was here for the Memphis game in 2012 when Southern Miss beat them for the first time in 6 years, whatever it was, and Memphis was ranked like top 15, and it was a sellout, and Southern Miss stormed the court and everything. But I was really young, and that was one. I mean, outside of maybe winning the Hattiesburg Regional, that when Southern Miss beat LSU, like that right there was that's what basketball's about, man. I mean, that is college basketball where it is a back and forth game. Both teams, there was points in the game where they were jumping all over the floor, jumping in the stands, like, the seats are like all over the place. And and I'm looking, that's what I'm looking around this stands right now, and there's just trash everywhere. And, we got in here for the first game. It was just me and Charlie for the William Carey game, and there was 2,100 people in here for that. And now and then maybe not even that, yeah. And so you have 8,000 fans in here tonight, all white, and it's just DeAndre Pinkney said he even got emotional just warming up just because of what he's been through.
Yeah, I'll go back to the Brewskis event. Literally, Felipe was talking to Coach Ladner at this preseason event at Brewskis. There was only 26 fans that showed up, and that concerned Felipe. And Coach Ladner told Felipe, I bet we'll have a lot more than that when the season ends. And, this is just kind of a picture of that. Went from a couple hundred, as DeAndre was saying, last year to 8,097. this place is cooling off still. Like, it's literally, like, physically hot in here. Yeah. There were so many bodies jammed in here. That's just as electric as a crowd that you could kind of ask for. And of course, we kind of like knew, in basketball, that when these two top teams clash up against each other this late in the season battling for something, it's most likely going to be a contested game. Yeah. And that's exactly what it was. And I think, I don't even think the crowd was a driving force for Southern Miss to kind of push past Louisiana in this game.
Exactly, and something that Coach Leitner said back to us in September when we had media day, and he said it's important for us. One of our goals is to be playing meaningful games in February, and this tonight was a meaningful game. Southern Miss is now number 1 in the Sun Belt with a tiebreaker over Louisiana right now, and they're ahead of them in standings regardless. I don't know if we're picking them to win out right now, obviously, but if they were to win out, Southern Miss would go into the Sun Belt Championship as the 1 seed, having to win, I think it's 2 games to win the national.
Double bye.
Yeah, double bye. Yeah, and so 2 games to get to the NCAA tournament. That's something that, like, you can't even imagine. Like, that was it is a possibility now. Like, it really is. And Jackson, just talk about, you're looking across this arena. Everybody's in white, and it's almost. Jay Ladner said in the postgame press conference, he can't even overstate it enough that it's just incredible that we've gotten to this point.
Absolutely unbelievable. I mean, who would have thought we'd be here? Not me.
No, I did.
Not anybody.
In our basketball pregame. Man.
Yeah. Jay Ladner talked about it post-game. There were 2 polls, which he said don't pay any attention to. One had a Southern Miss finishing 13th in the Sun Belt. That's second to last. And another one had them finish 14th, which is dead last. And we didn't even notice this. You and I were talking about this, Dima, that on their warm-up shirts, they have the number 14 on the back of it to kind of give them that extra motivation every game. And it's paid off, going from predicted to be one of the worst to one of the best. It's definitely a remarkable turnaround. The fans are showing up and responding. I feel like not only is it huge for them to have this big fan turnout, but they won in front of all these fans. I feel like that's a more important thing, and definitely momentum can keep that going forward.
And speaking of that momentum, Southern Miss right now is 13-0 at home. And speaking of 14, they could possibly be 14-0 this upcoming Saturday against ULM. So this momentum is rolling. Hattiesburg is rolling right now. I mean, if I had to say right now, Hattiesburg is a basketball town. If we just analyze the crowd here today, man, this is something truly special. And I just keep thinking about it and just talking about it, of course. But Coach Warren Cardona just coming on our podcast, 4th Street Sports, telling us, something that at the time it was hard for us to believe that, the Reed Green sold out when, at most it was only about, 2,000 at most in some of these games and less than that on an average day-to-day basis, last season. Coming into this season, that was hard to believe. How could you get 8,000 people in here, in this arena? And, that prophecy came to fruition, and it's still crazy to believe. So, man, shout out to Coach Warren, man, and just shout out to this team for believing in themselves to make it this far. And it's truly special to see. And hopefully this team will be playing in March, and we'll be, keep talking about this. So, yeah.
Exactly, and one thing Jay Ladner said that I just want to hold on one sec really quickly is this team they're just great guys, and they're so fun to watch. Like seeing Nefta and them playing together, and Felipe and Austin and everybody on this team, they're just so fun to watch, and everybody can just get behind them so easily because it's just a different storyline. It's not your typical, Iowa Hawkeyes basketball team. This is a bunch of, transfers. You have people who have been here, right, and you have like the Chilean flag going up and the Puerto Rican flags on the sidelines. I mean, these are things you just don't see. This is what makes college sports so amazing, and we just can't stress it enough. But Southern Miss wins tonight, 82-71. They play ULM on Saturday. It seems hard to even comprehend how you replicate something like this. Charlie, how do they kind of keep their minds focused on that game? It seems like primetime trap.
Yeah, I want to say before we get into that, some other names that we didn't go over. Donovan Ivory was a huge spark off the bench. Yeah, Tyler Mormon, because we knew that Jordan Brown was going to be a problem, and he still was, but they were able to kind of minimize that, especially in the second half. Yeah, so just shout out to them. But also, this kind of changed how I looked at this team, because that was the most aggressive we've seen Nefta play, and when he has such a defensive impact already, and he's making baskets. I mean, we've seen him attempt some, but he's usually kind of passing it. That's something that Ladner was saying a couple weeks ago. You could have taken some of those. Yeah. Tonight, when Austin was in foul trouble, he was taking those shots. He was stepping up as a scorer. And now, think of it. They have 4 guys who can drop 20 on you. Like, it's wild. But like Coach said, I think they just got to stay humble. Obviously, they did a good job of kind of keeping it down tonight. I think they kind of ran into problems with that in the first half, just kind of getting into the groove of things. But, yeah, you just got to stay humble. Know that the goals ahead of you are the most important, Obviously, I don't think any of us expected them to go from 7 wins to 22 in just one season. But they obviously have a bigger picture in mind, so I don't think it will be a problem.
Yeah, who would have imagined that they have the possibility of matching their losses from last year when they had 7-26, and they could be 20. They could get realistically 26 wins. So, but they play ULM on Saturday. Nothing short of amazing here tonight. We're gonna have so much coverage. Check us out on YouTube. We're gonna have the Jay Ladner press conference as well as Neftali and DeAndre. We'll have the post-game story. Check out social media. We posted a lot of videos on there. I hope you were able to attend the game tonight. It was truly an event that unlike the things we've ever seen. So. Anyways, that's Austin Lindsay, that's Jackson Howell, that's Charlie Luttrell. I'm Duke Mixon. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch y'all next time on our post-game reaction. Southern Miss wins 82-71. They face ULM on Saturday, and they are number 1 in the Sun Belt. Thanks so much for watching.